Hey y'all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. Today I am very excited to be diving into the video because not only is it viewer requested, but it is a video that I kind of wanted to do, but I felt like I was a little behind and too late to the game. But again, it was viewer requested. I put out a post a couple weeks ago saying like, what videos would you like to see? And I had someone leave a comment asking to do the eyeshadow palette tag created by Samantha March and Allie Glines. Now this is round 2 for them. They did one originally, I think the previous year, and this one that they just did was posted, I think, at the beginning of the year. I'm not exactly sure. Again, like I said, I'm late to it, but I did want to go ahead and jump on into it, especially since there was interest and it's talking about eyeshadow palettes. So if you guys don't mind me being a little late to the party, I figured I'd go ahead and jump on and share with you guys my eyeshadow palette collection, answering the questions that they came up with for round 2. So more questions about eyeshadow palettes, a lot of really fun ones, and I'm really excited. Really made me think today when I was kind of thinking about it and getting all my palettes out. I spent some time thinking about this, and you guys know me when it comes to my palettes. I always have so many favorites. It was very, very challenging, but I finally have a stack here in front of me to talk about. So with that said, why don't we just go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so question number 1 was all-time favorite. And this is very, very difficult because I feel like even like 6 or 8 months ago, whenever before this palette was launched, I would have given a different answer, but ever since this palette was launched, it's just stolen my heart. And anytime I think about one palette that I can say, yes, I love everything about it and I'll never get bored, this palette always trumps it. So it's a bit of a newer favorite, but I really feel like it's trumped all my other palettes when it comes to one palette that I could say is my all-time favorite, because you guys know I like a lot of palettes. So having to pick one palette is exceptionally hard, but with this palette, I always come back to it, and that is the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. This palette right here just stole my heart the moment I saw it because this color story is just so very me. I love the greens in here, but I also love this grungy kind of reddish, but more neutral, kind of with the browns and the orange down here. And then I love the pop of bright blue and the icy colors with the shimmers. Everything about this palette I just love, and it's definitely the palette I can say hands down I used the most last year in 2021. I took it with me on vacation. I can't even remember, I want to say I had almost 10 looks to show you guys when I did my review of this palette. But like I said, I took it on vacation and I've gone back to it a couple times since then. Days when I didn't really have any palette that I wanted to try and I just wanted a palette to grab. This is the palette I go for just because I always love it. The formula for the mattes is so good, and the formula for the shimmers is stunning. They are so beautiful, so sparkly, so easy to use, so easy to apply. So yeah, I feel like it's a no-brainer. I love the color story, I love the matte formula, I love the shimmer formula. It's all in one for me. So when I'm thinking over all the palettes, that's all-time favorites. Yes, I love so many palettes, but this is one palette I feel like, again, I don't think I could ever get bored of this palette just because it's so me with the color tone and the hues that you can play with in here. It gives me a chance to be very colorful, even though there's not a ton of colors in here. I have color options in here, and I just feel like possibilities are endless. So I had to give it to the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette, even though this is limited edition. It's definitely a palette that is very much loved in my collection, and I cannot see myself like falling out of love with it anytime soon. It's just came in with a bang and it's staying. All right, so question number 2 was a new favorite. So what is a new favorite palette? And I really try to think about palettes that I'm currently diving into that are really just like stealing my heart. I'm really enjoying. And there's definitely one palette that I used not too long ago, but it is the Colored Raine Wealthy Chic, I believe is how you pronounce it, palette. But this palette, oh my goodness, I was a little skeptical because the last Colored Raine palette I tried was definitely a dud for me, and it's been that long. I think, was it 2 years ago? I forget when the Juicy Boost palette came out, but that was definitely a dud for me. So I wasn't sure how I would like this with the shimmers and the mattes. However, I used it on camera. I'll leave that video link down below. I was super pleased, and I think I used all the shades in this palette, and I thought all of them were very beautiful. I had no issues with quality wise, and I just can't wait to continue diving in and using it in different ways. So I was super pleased to see not only is this a beautiful green color story, but it's got bright green, it's got grungy green, it's got depth in it, and it has such beautiful shimmers. So beautiful. So yeah, it's definitely a new favorite of mine that I have been diving into, that are among my new palettes that I've been exploring. But the formula is just so nice, so smooth, so pigmented when it comes to the matte, so blendable and easy to work with, and the shimmers are just so sparkly, so pretty. All right, next question was you keep for the memories. And I really was trying to only pick one palette for each of these answers, but this one I had to do 2 because there are 2 palettes in my collection that I feel like I can't get rid of, even though like I have no interest in the color story anymore because of the memories that are behind it. So I'm going to share with you the first one, and this is the Vice I honestly don't remember what number this was, the Vice palette. I want to say it was like 4, but I could be wrong. This palette right here, the main reason I can't get rid of it, along with the memories, is also just the beauty of it. This was one palette that I got when I was still like super into neutral looks, and so when I saw this palette from Urban Decay get launched, I was like, oh my goodness, that's so colorful. And also I was trying to like pick it up early. I think I got early access at Ulta, and so I was trying to pick it up and review it very quickly for my blog. I had a blog at the time, and so I was wanting to pick it up and use it. And I remember we were going on a trip to the mountains for a family vacation, so I brought it with me, and I remember doing looks and they're trying to like get the perfect picture outside in the natural light so that I could write up a blog post about it. So there are just so many memories that I remember with this palette. It was an exciting release. I don't think, does Urban Decay even launch like Vice palettes? I don't think they do, but at the time, like every year around the holidays, they would launch a Vice palette, and it was always so sought after at the time. And when they launched this one, I was so in love with the oil spill of the cover that I was just like, oh my goodness, I want to get that and review it. And this was definitely a very expensive palette for me to purchase. I want to say it was around $60, and at the time I was definitely more still in the drugstore price range of things. So this was very expensive for me. This was a rare Urban Decay purchase for me, but it was just so very special because looking back, I was just so excited to get it, so excited to do looks with it. And if I think about it, I'll try to grab the blog post that I did on it. This was many years ago, so it would be kind of interesting to go back and see what type of looks I created with this palette, because I was definitely very new in the eyeshadow game, so I can only imagine my blending capabilities and my brows, because I definitely, I mean, I barely do anything with my brows now, but I definitely didn't do anything with my brows back then. But yeah, it's just got so many memories, and I still to this day think that the oil spill look of the packaging is so pretty. I honestly don't foresee myself getting rid of it anytime soon. And then the second one is the LORAC and the Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales collaboration. This one is for a couple of reasons, but one of them being that I really do like the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, like the movies. I am a huge fan of the first few of them, and I mean, they're all fine. I feel like there's some weak links in there and whatnot, but for the most part, like I do enjoy the series. I love the pirate aspect of it, but if I had to pick one favorite, it was definitely the first one. That one is just my favorite. But anyway, I just love the packaging for it. I love, you know, of course I just said I like the Pirates of the Caribbean, but I love the packaging aspect. I love the hidden little container right here that you could stick the face palette in, and I just love everything about the packaging. But along with that, this palette I got in PR, and I was able to do a blog post on, and I honestly don't know if I've shared this before. I feel like I might have shared it before, but I almost started my YouTube channel with a review on this palette. Like almost, as in I remember setting up my camera at my house in Virginia, pressing record, and I started going through, like, I want to say I recorded like 5 minutes worth of a review, and that was going to be my intro to YouTube. Like that was going to be my first video that I start my YouTube channel with, was going to be a review on this. And then, like I said, about 5, maybe 10 minutes in, I was just like, Katie, you're ridiculous. Like, what are you doing? You're not going to be a YouTuber. You're not starting a YouTube. So I remember I shut it off, deleted the clip off my camera, and just went and did a blog post on it. But like, that's how close I was. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start a YouTube channel with this palette. And I don't think it was all that much longer that I finally did start a channel. Be interesting if I put the dates on here when I reviewed this and then when I finally did start my channel. But I always look back at this palette very fondly, because I was like, you almost had it. You almost had the guts to start a channel here, and you didn't, but later on you did. So anyway, it's just one of those very nostalgic pieces that carry a lot of memories for me. And even though like I have no interest in what's inside it anymore, because I feel like I'm definitely a lot more colorful these days than what this palette has, it still holds a lot of memories. So I don't foresee myself getting rid of either of these anytime soon, just because of the memories it holds for me. All right, next one was underrated. And this is kind of a brand, but I'm gonna mention 4 palettes because I'm currently trying all of them right now. But as a brand as a whole, I feel like Playing in Makeup by Yolondo is so underrated. Like I don't really feel like I see them very often. I definitely do see them, so I feel like they're starting to get out there and whatnot, but when she does her launches and whatnot, I don't really hear many people talking about them, and I don't see a whole lot of reviews about them. And I mean, I just tell you guys, like, the quality of these are fantastic. And I did 2 videos where I used, let me see if I can remember. I probably can't, but I think I used these 2 in one video, and then the next week I used these 2 in another video. I did them over live stream, so the quality of this I don't think was the best, but I got better at the quality for here when I was live streaming it. But regardless, I used all of them live on camera, and I was just like gasping, and you guys were gasping too, with the quality of these palettes. Like, they are so good. The formulas for the mattes are so buttery smooth, so intensely pigmented. They go on so easily, they blend so well. And then the shimmers, holy cow, like the shimmers in here, let me just show you one shimmer. Not all of them have a shimmer. One of them is an all matte, but like, look at this shimmer. I'm barely touching into the pan. Like, I'm going super light. I'm barely touching into the pan, like I'm going super light, and it's just so intense and so beautiful. And also too, something I was impressed with is that they generally stay put. I do think I use glitter primer, but I was a little worried because this look that I did, the shimmer is super, super dark, as you can see, and I was like, oh no, that's gonna go all up in my crease and just make a, you know, kind of a muddy mess, and it didn't budge the whole day. So I was super impressed about that, very pleased with that. And overall, I think the shimmer formula is gorgeous. They kind of remind me of LA Girl, their shimmer formula in the main stage palette, and even their newer palette, that very soft formula that just shines so much and is just so very beautiful, has so much sparkle to it, but it's very, very soft. That's kind of like what her formula reminds me of, and I really do enjoy it. So yeah, this one is more so as a brand, but these are the four I'm going to mention, and if you're curious, this is called Mixture. This one is called Friends. Let's see, this one is called, I guess I can open them. This one is called Expression. And then this one is called Basic. And I believe she came out with 12 or 14 different color combinations with these palettes. So if you are at all curious in any of these, definitely check out her site. She has tons of different color combinations, some more neutral, some more mauve-y and whatnot. So I'm sure you can find one that you like. And I want to say they're only like between $15 and $20. I think they're like 17, somewhere in there. So not too bad. I wait for a sale. I got them 40% off, I believe is when I picked these up. So yeah, such great quality, such great like colors, such intensity and saturation in the colors too. I tried her pastel palette last year that I was very, very happy with. I've tried a brush from her that I thought is fantastic quality. I still use it very regularly. So as a whole, the brand Playing in Makeup by Yolanda, I feel like is very underrated, and I'm waiting for it to get more love here on YouTube because the brand definitely deserves it. They do fantastic work with their palettes. Next is not a favorite, but can't get rid of. This one I had to give to the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. And that is mainly because as I'm looking over my palettes, I feel like there's a lot of older palettes, specifically the chocolate gold, or not chocolate gold, but the chocolate bar collection from Too Faced, that I definitely feel like I can get rid of now. I have no interest in them. They're so, so neutral. But anytime I open this, I'm just like, oh no, I can't get rid of this. And I think mostly because of memory. So it's almost like that memory thing, because I think I picked this up around when I delivered my son Gideon, my first son Gideon, my second child. And so there's a lot of memories. I remember doing my makeup and, you know, putting these on my eyes while being, you know, brand new, just had him back from the hospital and whatnot. I used it when I did my, you know, kind of story time sharing about his birth and whatnot. So there's a lot of memories associated with this palette, but also too, I like this palette. I think it's beautiful. Like, I like the gold drip on the side. I think that's really pretty. I love the gold bar aspect of it. I also like that it still smells like chocolate. Like, it smells so good. It's so nice. And even though I'm not super into the color story that is in this palette, I do still really like the formula, because I can remember it being just very, very intense. Like, look at that. So very nice. Here's the gold. So very nice, especially for Too Faced Cosmetics. I feel like they tend to go very soft and whatnot with their shimmers, and there are definitely some that are more soft, but for the most part, like, it's nice quality. It's got the shine to it for a shimmer that I think is really, really pretty. And like I said, it just smells like chocolate. So I feel like when the time comes that I'm ready to declutter my chocolate bar collection, this will be one that I can't get rid of. Even though it's not really a favorite of mine, even though like I'm not super inspired to grab for it, I'd use it every now and then maybe, because like I said, it could get a really pretty neutral look with these shimmers, but there's so much I like about it, I feel like I can't get rid of it. All right, moving right along. Fave Collab 2021 favorite. So from 2021, which there was a lot of collabs that came out that year, this is really hard for me to like try to pick and choose, because there's so many good ones, so many ones I enjoy. But I feel like when I'm thinking over them and which is a favorite, I gotta give it to Menagerie and Annette Cosmetics, their Serenity palette. They did so well with this palette. I had so much fun when I was using this palette, and I created so many very unique and different type of looks for me. Looks with like colors that I wouldn't typically think to mix together, or typically think to even do on my eyes. I feel like my eyes today is definitely like, it's beautiful, it's stunning, but it's definitely a Katie type of look. I love mixing those yellow, orange, and greens together. It's so pretty. But with this palette being such a unique color story, but all the colors being so bold and so intense, the way I love Menagerie's formula, the mattes in this palette are just like I would expect from Menagerie. They're so beautiful, so pigmented, so easy to blend, such a dream to work with. And the shimmers in here, I can honestly say I loved all all of them. They are so very nice. If you're new around here, I'm typically not a fan of Menagerie shimmers because they're just, they're like crumbly, they're flaky, they're more sheerish type of thing, or they're like super firmly pressed. I've seen both with them, but this formula, all of them are just so nice. And because there are so many shimmers, I really do appreciate that. I enjoy all of them, and it just makes using this palette and creating looks with this palette so much more fun and just so much more effortless and whatnot, and memorable in my mind as being a favorite. So yeah, when I was thinking over all the amazing palettes that came out during the year 2021, this is definitely one that I love the color story, I love the mattes, I love the shimmers, I love the artwork, I love the brand, I love the collaborator, so it's like I have to pick this one as my top favorite from 2021. All right, next up, Didn't Expect to Love. And this one I decided to pick the LA Girl Main Stage Desert Dream palette. Mainly because when I picked it up, I was like, oh, you know, this is a very pretty color story, but it's LA Girl. I really didn't have any experience with them, but they are drugstore and super affordable. So I was kind of expecting to come in here and having to work to get pretty looks, basically. I was thinking I'd have to work to get these matte shadows to show up, to work to really get them to pack a punch, to work to get the shimmers and whatnot. But I was just so curious, I had to pick it up. And then I picked it up and I've done looks with it, and I'm just blown away by how beautiful it is. Like the formula of these mattes, like they're just so intense. I know I'm starting to touch eyeshadow, but like they are so intense and so bright. I would put this palette specifically, the formula of the mattes and shimmers, right up there as a favorite from like my indie brands that I know and love and that create such amazing formula. This palette is right up there along with it because the matte formula is just so very nice. It's got depth, it's got brightness to it, and the shimmers themselves are stunning. They have so much sparkle to them. They're very soft, like when you touch it. I think I was just talking about, you know, comparing them in the softness. They're very soft, so a lot of times, I think the first couple times I purchased this, I did it online, and Ulta shipped it to me, and it kept arriving cracked and broken and whatnot because they are so very soft, but they are gorgeous. Like there's just so much sparkle to them, so much intensity to the shimmer. They're stunning, and with this color combination, I feel like it just creates such unique colors and like unique looks that anytime I see a look done with this on my Instagram, I can always go, you know what, I bet that's from the Main Stage palette. So this is definitely a palette that I just got on a whim. I was like, I really want to try it. I've always been curious about LA Girl Cosmetics, and this is a color story I love, so let me try it out. And then I tried it out and I'm like, oh my goodness, this palette is amazing. Like I absolutely love it. So definitely a palette. I think I tried it towards the beginning of 2021 and then ended up being in one of my top 5 palettes from 2021. Like that's how much of a favorite this palette is to me. All right, next up, the prompt is a palette that sparks joy. And for me, it has to be the Ace Beauté Tropical Vibes palette, because anytime I open this palette, I just get like so happy. Like I open it and these are just so like me tones when it comes to the Katy grungy green loving side of me that I just get so happy anytime I look at this. And there's just so many beautiful colors that just jump out to me and just like make me want to use it. Like this lime green, these vibrant yellow, and even this one being more like a yellow green. This khaki color up here, so pretty. This really grungy jungle shade right here, so gorgeous. There's just so many colors in here that I'm just like, ah, yes, those are the type of grungy green, or the type of, you know, grungy yellow green, you know, orangey type of grunge that I just love when it comes to colors. There's just something about that grunge that I'm just like, yes, that's my comfort zone. So anytime I open this, it definitely is a palette that sparks joy in me because I get so inspired, I get so happy, and it's just like, yes, I enjoy my very vibrant, very bright colors, but there's just something about grungy greens and that grungy green color story that will always and forever be a special place in my heart and will definitely always be a favorite of mine. And this palette specifically is just such great quality. Like the matte formula is so beautiful. The shimmers, I want to say the shimmers are very flaky and a little difficult to put on, but they are like super beautiful once you get it on your eyelid. They're so pretty. And yeah, everything about this palette I love. And I can say now, when I reviewed this, I bought it as a customer and whatnot, but I can say now that I am affiliated with the brand Ace Beauté, so I actually have my own affiliate code if you want to use it. But that was super exciting for me when they reached out and asked if I wanted to join their program, because I'm such a big fan of this palette specifically, and I can't wait to see what they come out in 2022. I was like, yes, I would love to join your affiliate program. So that was a sweet kickoff to the year 2022 for me. All right, I'm starting to sweat under these lights. And next prompt is newest palette in your collection, and this is from Kai Love Beauty, or Kai Love. I don't think they have the beauty at the end, but I always say Kai Love Beauty. But anyway, Kai Love's new Art Nueve collection. This palette right here, I just launched my review last week, at least if this video goes live on the day I'm planning for it. It just went live last week, so So if you are curious at all to see the looks that I've created with this palette, you can check that video out. I created 3 looks with this palette specifically, and also it's what's on my eyes today. So yeah, definitely a color story. Oh, this kind of green with the orange and the yellow. Oh, I just love it so much. And that was definitely something I was excited to create with this palette when it first arrived. But yeah, I've been really enjoying this, not only for the quality of the shimmers and the mattes, but also just the color story is just so inspiring. I have created, I guess, what is it, 6 looks now with this one, and I'm still like not done. There's a couple more combinations that I'm so excited to do. I want to do like a yellow and purple look for sure. I almost did that today, but I figured it was really close to the look I did in the video reviewing it, where I did a purple green. So I decided to go for something super different than that, and I really do enjoy how this look turned out. But anyway, I'm just gushing over here, but this is a palette I am having so much fun with, and it's a new palette in my collection. And Kai Love, I mean, let me just say, Kai Love hit it out of the park when it came to this color story, the formula, and all that. I think they did a fantastic job with it. All right, we're on to the last question. First palette used in 2022. I hope I didn't like miss any, but I'm pretty sure I copied over all the questions I saw in her description box. But the first palette I used, now this one I'm pretty darn sure. I had to think back because I wasn't keeping track, and at this point it's in the middle of March. January 1st or the first week of January was a while ago, but thinking back, I do remember that I had on New Year's Eve I wore the DD Signature, what is it called? Neutral Wonders palette. I wore that palette, and I remember that was like the last look that I did with this palette. And so thinking back over, you know, the past couple months, I was thinking which one I use next, and I do know I dived into the DD Signature, the Pumpkin Spice palette, because I was super excited to get into this. So I'm pretty sure this is the first palette I used in 2022, and it looks like this, and it's just, it kind of reminds me of the look I have on my eyes today, honestly, with the orange and the green. But yeah, this is, I want to say, the first palette I used in 2022, and it is such a nice little palette. I enjoyed it so very much. Even though it only has 4 shades, I still had a grand time with it, creating so many different type of looks that I could get from it. It was fantastic. And these shimmers, while I do think this look is beautiful, like this look that I have on today is absolutely stunning. I think it's just so beautiful. However, if I had these shimmers on my eyes today, it would be even like, just, there's something beautiful about DD Signature shimmers. Let me show you this. Like, I hope it does justice, but there's so much shine to it. And I want to say it's showing up very like goldish in the camera, but from the side, it's like a pink purple to blue. It's so pretty, the shifts that you get. And also this shimmer is absolutely stunning. It's like kind of like a medallion type of dirty gold look to it, but on the side it's almost like a brown or like a red brown. They're stunning. So there is definitely something very special when it comes to DD Signature's shimmers. And I do have to say that I'm just so very sad that DD Signature is closing down. I don't know for sure if it's a permanent thing or if just something's going on in the owner's life that she can't continue on right now. But if she is at all able to continue on later down the road and like restart her brand and keep going, I really do hope she is able to, because she has done such an amazing job with her shimmer and matte formula. Like, it is just so very special, and her palettes are for the most part not too expensive, and she has frequent sales and whatnot. So I was always super happy with her formula, her prices and all that, and her color stories that she would come out with. Oh my goodness, her fruit skewer collection was just so very fun and, you know, just out there and creative. When she announced that she was shutting down, I was like, no, not DD Signature. Like I said, I don't know if they might come back later or if it's a very permanent thing and she's moving on, but if she does ever come back, I will welcome her with open arms. But yeah, that was the first palette I tried in 2022. All right, so there you have it. That is my eyeshadow palette collection round 2. I want to say I did the original one that Samantha and Allie did together. And if I did, and I can find it on my channel, I'll leave that down in the description box if you want to see what palettes I picked originally when they did their original tag. And you guys know I enjoy tag videos, and I especially enjoy tag videos when they revolve around eyeshadow palettes and getting to look back at my eyeshadow palettes and just talk about my favorites or memories or ones that I enjoyed or whatnot. I always really do enjoy kind of taking the questions and looking back through my collection at older palettes that I haven't had the chance to play with in a while. So I'm glad you guys asked me to do this video, even though it has been a while and I'm very late to the game, but I do hope you still enjoyed it. And per usual, if you want to answer any of these questions or let me know what's a palette that you have in your collection that you can't get rid of, even though you've kind of moved on past it, definitely leave that down below in the comments. I'd love to hear what palette sticks around in your collection, even though you could probably get rid of it, but it's just, it has all the memories, so you can't. But yeah, with that said, that is going to do it for me. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you want to continue getting daily content from me, I'm over on Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92 over there, and I post reels, up close eye pictures, all that sort of thing. And yeah, with all that said, that's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.